Whoa, okay, let's check it out. This spallation or laser drilling techniques where we actually disassociate matter and don't end up with a lot of tailings that are a problem to get rid of. Take a look at this.
Spiraling deep into the earth, searching for water, oil, and knowledge. Grinding, crushing, and scraping the way through earth, steel, ice, or stone. Now, drilling on Modern Marvels. Drill bit of the future may not be a bit at all. It's straight out of a science fiction movie, using lasers to vaporize matter. But then again, the next generation of drilling technology got its start from the Star Wars missile defense program.
In the mid-1990s, the Star Wars program was sort of winding down, and some people that in the drilling business thought, well, it would be a good idea maybe to experiment with those Star Wars lasers and see if they could be used to drill oil and gas wells. So they went around to the Air Force and the Army and used some of their lasers, and they found that, sure, the lasers are powerful enough to destroy rocks or put holes in practically anything. So the idea that Star Wars lasers would be useful was demonstrated, but it was decided that really it was more appropriate to use industrial lasers.
The U.S. government's Argonne National Labs decided to develop the technology.
We found that there are basically three mechanisms for heating rocks with the laser. The first mechanism is when you just put the beam on at a low intensity, the rock temperature rises and it sort of shatters, like happens if you take a hot glass and you put it in cold water, it's going to shatter. That's the...
And thus the essence of the spalls, the spallation technology, these small particles are what they call the spalls, or the tailings from the cutting or drilling process. So they can actually then, these small tailings can be evacuated in different ways that we're going to talk about. Acoustic levitation later on in the course. So you might be able to use sound emitting diodes as opposed to LEDs, light emitting diodes. You might use SEDs, sound emitting diodes, and acoustically levitate the spalls or the tailings out of the hole instead of having to pump mud down there and have all these high pressure mechanical systems.
Thermal fracture mechanism. If you continue to put the laser beam on for a longer period of time, the rock starts to melt. And if you leave it on long enough, that melted rock starts to boil or vaporize.
To date, Claude Reed and his team have successfully developed the thermal fracturing method. The laser produces an invisible vertical beam the size of a mechanical pencil lead, which shatters the rock fragments. An air nozzle blows the fragments off the surface.
As each layer is removed, then the laser head would go down to the next level, remove the material, then down to the next level. And it just marches downward, step by step, removing each material and taking it out of the hole.
Laser drilling will have several advantages over conventional drilling. It's expected to cost less, work faster, and be more precise. But the technology has a few more hurdles to clear before going out in the field.
In 10 years or more, laser drills could and probably will replace all oil and gas well drilling. There's no real fundamental reason why laser drills can't do that job. They can penetrate any rock material. They can melt and vaporize any material.
Okay, so then we start to think about the heats that are the heat that's produced, and then you say, well, what about but the potential for explosion and fire? The question is for the geothermal drilling roughneck, or the guys that work on the drilling rigs. It's not a matter of if you're going to be blown up, if there's going to be an explosion. It's a matter of when will there be an explosion. So you see there how this could turn into a larger bore, or right now they're drilling relatively small holes, but if you set it up on a larger radius or a larger diameter like we see in this larger scale machine, then get down the hole and you have the potential to create a 20-inch bore or even more. And then the tailings are not a big heavy weighted issue. They are smaller in size and predictable and easier to transport and easier to deal with once they're at the surface. Once again, this allows for mining of the tailings. So you could you get into different formations or different metallurgy. Let's say you run into a vein of gold. Yeah. Then you stop drilling for geothermal and you start drilling for gold. Yeah. What do you think? I'm up for it. So now let's imagine that type of a plasma torch or spallation drilling techniques, laser drilling, another way to say the same thing. Dissociation at a molecular or almost an atomic, subatomic level. Dissociation of materials, creating small mining tailings. But let's look back in history here at the conventional rig and see that through the eyes of a person.
After the well site has been carefully prepared to meet environmental
person that might understand the future of laser drilling.
health and safety standards, drilling can begin. This is an intricate operation requiring a well-planned infrastructure. A variety of processes and expert, well-trained specialists are used to bring natural gas to the surface.
Now, this is for natural gas, but we're going to find out later in the course here that we're repurposing these fracted out natural gas and oil wells that are being, shall we say, abandoned as hazardous waste. They're capping the wells off, walking away from them, and saying, well, you know, we're done. But in the process of, shall we say, stabilizing the structure, the strata underneath in the fracted out reservoirs, they had to inject some type of support fluid, usually salt water. Sometimes it's waste from sanitation plants, from municipal sanitation or sewage. But the whole idea being that there's a massive amount of material and technology involved in the mudding process or pumping fluids, whereas if you're into the laser approaches, a lot of this machinery wouldn't be here.
Chesapeake works with these experts during every aspect of the project, while strictly adhering to all individual state regulations. During the drilling process, the rig is in constant operation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for approximately 21 to 28 days. As an added precaution in some areas, a protective mat covers 2/3 of the pad site. Utilizing heavy-duty industrial-strength drill bits, a typical well is drilled in several stages, starting with a large diameter drill bit and then successively smaller drill bits as the drilling is advanced. After drilling each portion of the well, nested steel protective casing is cemented into place. This will protect groundwater and maintain the integrity of the well. Initially, and prior to moving in the drilling rig, a large diameter hole is drilled for the first 50 to 80 feet. Conductor casing is then cemented into place, stabilizing the ground around the drilling rig and wellhead, and isolating the well from most private water wells. In the Marcellus area, the freshwater zone extends to approximately 800 feet below ground. The freshwater zone consists of porous sandstone and rock stratas containing water within the pore space of the rock. Chesapeake utilizes air drilling until the hole is advanced to an average of 100 to 200 feet below the base of the freshwater zone. This provides added protection to the freshwater zone. A series of compressors and boosters generate the air that is used to lift the rock cuttings and fresh water into steel bins. The rock cuttings are then disposed of within state guidelines and permits. The drilling equipment is retracted to the surface and stored for the second stage of drilling. To protect the integrity of the hole and to protect the surrounding deep freshwater zone, a second layer of steel casing, called surface casing, is installed and cemented inside the newly drilled hole and conductor casing. Cement is pumped down through the surface casing and up along the sides of the well to provide a proper seal. This completely isolates the well from the deepest of private or municipal water wells. A blowout preventer is installed after the surface casing has been cemented. The blowout preventer is
Otherwise known as the BOP, blowout preventer valve.
a series of high-pressure safety valves and seals attached to the top of the casing to control well pressure and prevent cement, continuing its journey to the natural gas target area as deep as 8,000 feet below the surface. The drilling method employed below the surface casing uses drilling mud, which is a non-hazardous mixture based on bentonite clay or synthetic thickeners. In addition to lifting the rock cuttings out of the hole, drilling mud also helps to stabilize the hole, cool the drill bit, and control downhole pressure. A few hundred feet above the target shale, the drilling assembly comes to a stop. The entire string is retracted to the surface to adjust the drilling assembly and install a special drilling tool. This tool allows Chesapeake to gradually turn the drill bit until a horizontal plane is reached. The remainder of the well is drilled in this horizontal plane,
See, there's the essence of your sweep right here, and I think that they actually have some specifications. Whoa, it's hard to say. Some specifications on the radius of this sweep for different diameters as far as the hole size.
While in contact with the gas-producing shale, drilling continues horizontally through the shale at lengths greater than 4,000 feet from the point where it entered the formation. Once drilling is completed, the equipment is retracted to the surface. Then, a smaller diameter casing, called production casing, is installed throughout the total length of the well. The production casing is cemented and secured in place by pumping cement down through the end of the casing. Depending on regional geologic conditions, the cement is pumped around the outside casing wall to approximately 2,500 feet above the producing shale formation or to the surface. The cement creates a seal to ensure that formation fluids can only be produced via the production casing. After each layer of casing is installed, the well is pressure tested to ensure its integrity for continued drilling. A cross-section of the well below surface reveals several protective layers: cement, conductor casing, cement, surface casing, drilling mud, production casing, and then production tubing, through which the produced gas and water will flow. 7 layers of protection. Horizontal drilling offers many advantages when compared to vertical drilling. Since horizontal wells contact more of the gas-producing shale, fewer wells are needed to optimally develop a gas field. Multiple wells can be drilled from the same pad sites. For example, development of a 1,280-acre tract of land using conventional vertical drilling techniques could require as many as 32 vertical wells, with each having its own pad site. However, one multi-well pad site with horizontal wells can effectively recover the same natural gas reserves from the 1,280-acre tract of land while reducing the overall surface disturbance by 90%.
Pretty sweet, huh? Nice.
After the well site has been carefully prepared to meet environmental, health, and safety standards,
I mean, stop, yeah. So now the finishing touches, the fracking process itself.
in order to maximize the production potential of the well, the shale formation will be hydraulically fractured. In preparation for the fracturing process, the casing will be perforated in the horizontal portion of the well using tubing-conveyed perforating guns containing explosive charges. The perforated intervals are spaced approximately 50 to 80 feet apart and create a connection between the production casing and the shale formation. With the initial
So you notice this is a more primitive approach and also older than the one we saw in our previous lecture.
perforating complete, the tubing and perforating guns are pulled to the surface, and the workover rig is replaced by a hydraulic fracturing crew consisting of a number of high-pressure pumps and blending equipment. This equipment will pump a mixture of water and proppant, usually sand, through the newly created perforations in the production casing and into the shale formation. First, water is passed from a water storage impoundment into the blue working tanks depicted on this location. The water is then pulled into a hydration unit, which provides the ability to gel the fluid before it is transferred to the blender. At the blender, proppant and a small amount of chemicals that aid in the fracturing process are added. The blender transfers the fluid and proppant mixture to the pump trucks through the low-pressure side of the manifold. The fracturing pumps increase the pressure of the fluid, sending it back through the high-pressure side of the manifold to the fractory where it enters the well. The entire fracturing process is controlled from the treatment monitoring van. When the fracturing fluid reaches the perforations, pressure builds until the shale formation fractures, allowing fluid to enter into the formation. Additional fractures are created along natural zones of weakness in the shale. These fractures are contained within the shale formation, well below the ground. After an initial stage of fluid called the pad is pumped to create a fracture area, proppant is added to the fluid and is distributed throughout the newly created fracture network. At the conclusion of the fracturing treatment, the proppant allows the fractures to remain open so that the natural gas can flow into the production casing and to the surface. This completes the first of several stages in the fracturing process.
So the propant, or the top secret fracturing fluids, fracking fluids, which a lot of people thought were highly poisonous and toxic, and created a lot of issues. One of the major fracking fluids that they use is derived from I don't know if you remember Calgon bath oil beads. Well, Calgon, you put it in your bathtub and you feel nice and slick, and it made you puffed up your skin. Well, the Calgon guy, he's just not making bath oil beads anymore. Now Calgon has gone into the fracking propants, and he's making a lot more money that way.
This process is repeated by lowering and pumping down an isolation plug and perforating guns into the wellbore to complete the next stage of fracturing. This time, the tools are conveyed into the well by a wireline unit, which allows the fracturing process to proceed much faster and more efficiently. A lubricator is used to control the pressure of the well while the operation is taking place. On the bottom of the perforating gun, a composite bridge plug is placed to isolate the newly fractured zone. This ensures that the subsequent fracturing treatment is contained in the current zone. The perforating gun is again fired at roughly 50 to 80 foot intervals, creating a connection between the production casing and the shale formation. The fracturing process is then repeated until all of the stages are completed. A typical shale well has approximately 8 to 12 stages of fracturing. At the conclusion of the fracturing operations, the isolation plugs are removed from the well and production can start. The produced fluids are diverted through a flowback manifold into storage tanks. The fluids are then recycled or disposed of according to state and federal regulations.
There you have it, fracking process. Frac wrap. Ew. So this does remain one of your job potentials. You're going to become a fracking rig operator. Maybe you would dig on this frac wrap.
All right, everybody in their places. You guys ready on that? Ready on that. Ready in the blender? Ready in the blender. 10-4, 10-4. Go ahead and swap it ass.
Let's get it fracked. Hotel wake up call got me getting up. First we rigging down, now we rigging up. Let's get it fracked. Safety glasses, hard hat, steel toes, proper PPE when we in field mode. Let's get it fracked. Do a JSA so you know what the job about. And get your headsets on and swap out. Let's get it fracked. From the treater to the line boss to safety. Soon everybody in their places. Let's get it fracked. Around landed me a job in the oil field. Now the plan to get the money flipping like a cartwheel. From PM to AM, then AM to PM. My girl hate the hours cause she say I never see them. That's why they get per diem, but she still don't like it though. Cause she say my side of the bed be ice cold. 6 gone, 3 home, feeling like a new man.
One of the advantages here, that this is oil fracking, correct? And so they're kind of doing the work for us here. If the EPA and the powers that be, as far as petroleum is concerned, because they're embedded, they're ingrained, and to have us come in and repurpose their fracted out reservoirs and start producing geothermal energy, which would basically drive them out of business as far as burning oil. See where the rub is there. So, but as far as going out and fracking out geothermal like EGS, enhanced geothermal systems, they're doing it in California, but I think there's plenty of oil wells available to us, and we have all the temperatures we need to use existing exhausted, fracked out reservoirs and go into production of electricity without having to drill new holes.
In the morning, catch me in the crew van, headed out to Chico to do a JSA and do your laws, hit the stove and hit the location. Obey the speed limits and stay in the convoy. Watch for any critters on the road. Damn it, boy, I do another JSA. Top pressure, I been getting up, first we rigging down, now we rigging up. Let's get it fracked. safety glasses, hard hat, steel toes, proper PPE when we in field long. Now let's get it frank. Do a JSA so you know what the job about. And get your headsets on and swap out. Let's get it frank. From the treater to the line boss to safety. Soon everybody in their places. Let's get it frank. I'ma learn this shit, and I mean that. Was on the crew, so they got me in a green hat. Calling me the new boy, but I got plans for them. Now in the pump room and get the fuck up off the sandstorm. Learn profits and smarts like the frag man. Bring them up 10 barrels from the data van. Shut it in, breathe it off, get a Santa rest. Prime it up and get ready for a pressure test. Everybody do their part so it's running smooth. Just look at all the stages we running through. Channel 2, we gon' high side to make it pass. You don't like it, take it sensitive ass. If you ain't on the crew, then you wouldn't understand it. The bottom line is, we all like family. Got me on the storm, but I helped change the back. Put it back together when we finish with that. Let's get it framed. Hotel wake up call, got me getting up. First we rigging down, now we rigging up. Let's get it framed. Safety glasses, hard hat, steel toes, proper PPE when we in field long. Let's get it framed. Do a JSA so you know what the job about. And get your headsets on and swap out. Let's get it framed. From the treater to the line boss to safety. Soon everybody in their place.
So you can see the massive capital here as far as machinery. So we get into the laser application or spallation drilling techniques, and you would cut this by 90%. So this is kind of antique, but that's what they're doing nowadays. So that's enough of that rap for me. How about you? Well, here you go. Geothermal roughnecking at its finest. Working the derricks on the dry steam wells in the geysers of Northern California.
Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna kick my feet up, then stare at the fan. Turn the TV on, throw my hand in my pants. Nobody's gonna tell me I can't. Nah, I'll be lounging on the couch, just chilling in my Snuggie. Click to MTV so they can teach me how to Dougie. Cause in my castle I'm the freaking man. Oh yes, I said it, I said it, I said it cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Tomorrow I'll wake up, do some P90X, meet a really nice girl, have some really nice sex, and she's gonna scream out, "This is great."
Oh my god, this is great.
Yeah, I might mess around and get my college degree. I bet my old man will be so proud of me. But sorry, Pops, you'll just have to wait. Oh, yes, I said it, I said it, I said it cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything.
So that's what you call tripping pipe, huh? You can watch this whole thing if you'd like. Let's kind of zoom forward and see what happens a little further down in the derrick. Getting into the steam now.
Here comes the next contestant. Is that your hand or my girlfriend? Is that your hand? I wish you'd do it again.
See, this is the hard part. He's penetrated the heat zone, or the shall we say, the geologic strata that is going to produce the heat. You can see there's some steam coming up his way. So now he's pulling the pipe back out of the well. So You look at and see what's coming down. Slow driller can't see me through the steam. A slow driller. Pipe is 350 degrees. And I use nylon rope to pull it out. Don't touch it or you'll be sorry.
I watch you leave it limping. There goes the next contestant. I even feel the ladies. They're cool but twice as crazy. Just as back for coming on her. They know it's never gonna work. And each time she bats an eyelash, somebody's grabbing her ass. Everyone keeps coming on her. This time somebody's getting hurt. Here comes the next contestant. Is that your hand or my girlfriend? Is that your hand? I wish you'd do it again. I watch you leave it limping, and I wish you'd do it again. I watch you leave it limping. There goes the next contestant.
We got to move forward here. Those guys might get a little bit of a dark view of life. Huh?
Maybe I could win this time. I kinda like the misery you put me through.
See these guys a little further down in the derrick here. This is where they actually take the pipe apart on the collar here, and they spin the sections off, send it up to the guy upstairs who's decking the pipe up.
Darling, you can't trust me completely. If you even try to look the other way, I think that I could kill this time. Rock, rock. Rock, rock. It doesn't really seem I'm getting through to you. Though I see you weeping so sweetly, I think that you might have to take another taste. A little bit of hell this time. Rock, rock. Lie to me.
So fun on the derrick, huh? Like a job you'd like to have? They get paid lots of money, but a lot of them don't live through it. Big machinery, trying to do it as fast as possible. Instead of, they're actually using a lot more strength and muscle than you realize there. So, I don't know. I think that might be a thing of the past with laser drilling techniques and sound emitting diodes acoustically levitating the spalls out of the drilling hole out of the so the tailings come out as a dust instead of having to pump mud and retrieve all these big pipes and everything. So anyway, a little bit of history for you there.